Hello, I'm Jake Bapst, the historian here at the University of Rio Grande Community College Gene Lloyd Cooper Archives, located conveniently on the third floor of the Greer Museum. And today, as part of our Throwback series, I'm going to talk a little about off-campus education and more about the regional campuses that we now have. Uh, Early in the 20th century, about 1900, Rio Grande expanded education off campus in the summertime for about a week at a time in what were called teacher institutes. They would go around to the local counties, Jackson, Benton, Meigs, Lawrence, and they would have week-long sessions where the teachers in that county could go in and take some refresher courses and get caught up. That changed in the 1920s. In the 1920s, because of the availability of automobiles, which were not really widely available until about 1915, with the American experience in World War I and economic conditions in southeastern Ohio, there became a demand for people to take classes without coming to campus. So they came up with what would be the equivalent now of computer instruction classes. They had correspondence classes. In 1923, as a matter of fact, they asked that you pay $5 more for a correspondence course. Now, the way a correspondence course worked at that time, you would send a letter and sign up for the class. The school you would send your tuition. The school would send you the book, and every week you'd receive a letter with your class instructions for the week, and you would send that back at the end of the week. A bulky process, obviously, but also one that worked. The first off-campus class was taught sometime in the 1920s. It was a psychology class taught in Pomeroy. So the relationship with Meigs County goes way back, about 100 years. That was a case where the instructor would actually go off campus and teach classes. That continued through the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. Occasionally, if there was a demand for a class somewhere, classes were taught. Among the places that classes were taught like that was Meigs County in Pomeroy, in Jackson County, and in Lawrence County, in Ironton, as a matter of fact. But as in the 60s, Rio Grande became more concentrated as a residential campus, and commuters came here. The community college passage in 1974 changed that. Part of the mission of the community college is to make education more available and to get it out into the four surrounding counties. The four counties have voted to tax themselves permanently to support the community college. That'd be Gallia, Jackson, Meigs, and Benton. And so classes were started more around in those areas. Classes of spatial interest to people, a lot of spatial classes in things such as art, some local history, but there was no real concentration. In 1998, that all changed. The Meigs Center started. Originally located at 150 Mill Street in Middleport in a building given by the Holzer Clinic to the Meigs County Community Improvement Corporation. In turn, they had Rio Grande start classes there. Classes continued in that building until 2008 when the Bernard V. Fultz Center for Higher Education was built. That's what we now call the Meigs Center, which is on the hill just above Meigs High School. 13,000 square feet, state of the art at the time. A very advanced building for the 90s, and a great place to teach. The success of the Meigs Center grew. The new building increased enrollment and also created a demand for other classes. So in 2010, the MacArthur Center started. And I have to, full confession, I am a bit prejudiced about the MacArthur Center since I was the first director. And we were a bit different than the Meigs Center. At the MacArthur Center, we started in a one-room school. We had one room, 4 classes, and 11 students. That was the start of the MacArthur Center. It's grown by leaps and bounds. Within a year, we were over 100 students. Within 2 years, we were at 150 students. And we've had many students start their education at the MacArthur Center and continue on to get their associate's degree and their bachelor's degree. The great thing about the regional campuses that we call centers, the MacArthur Center, the Meigs Center, and the Jackson Center, and soon to be the Pike Center in Piketon, the school can offer full 2 years worth of education, especially, which is great now with the way the CCP program operates. A high school junior, senior can take college classes and never even have to leave their home county. And so that happens. An example of that is when the MacArthur Center opened. I talked to a former student of mine who had lived in Tuppers Plains. She lived within 100 yards of the northern Meigs County line. She graduated from the University of Rio Grande with a degree in education and quite successful in her chosen career. And I was talking to her and I said, do me a favor. She commuted all the time. I said, do me a favor and calculate how many miles you drove to get your bachelor's degree. And she did some math and she came up with over 26,000 miles is what she drove to get her bachelor's degree. When you consider the circumference of the earth, 25,000 miles, those local centers make a huge difference in the lives of students. The MacArthur Center success, the Meigs Center success. In 2015, Rio Grande started the Jackson Center, and in 2017, it moved to its current location. As a bit of a side note, I don't have the full picture here. I don't have a good picture, but Michelle Johnston was president at the time, and at the ribbon cutting, where Mayor Randy Heath was there, who was a Rio Grande graduate, Bobby Montgomery, who was on the Community College Board of Trustees, and another participant was the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the state of Ohio, one Mr. Ryan Smith. You may recognize him. He floats around campus a little bit now. So the Jackson Center was a success. In 2023, there was a decision made to expand even further. And so ground was broken in Piketon, in Pike County, which is approximately 60 miles from here, to start the Pike County Center, which will open this fall. They have a schedule of more than 17 classes available to students, including an entire first year level for freshman students. And to top it off, in 2024, the personal best to me, the state gave money to Rio Grande to build a new MacArthur Center, which will be built just on the MacArthur side of Vinton County High School. And so the success of the regional campuses has been great. It's great for the school. It gets the name of Rio Grande out there. And just think, in 2026, when we celebrate the sesquicentennial of Rio Grande, 150 years of existence, you have to wonder, just what would Parmelia think? Go Rio.